Welcome to the CSEE news. These are our news on the Central and Southeast European countries and particular review report on all asset classes and the construction to real estate trends. This news reaches to you thanks to PropTech Bulgaria. I'm Silvia Pavlova and the founder of PropTech Bulgaria. Today we start with Hungary. Chinese, German and Dutch buyers remain active in the residential market in Hungary, especially in Budapest and some popular touristic regions. The weakening local currency makes homes even more attractive to invest in. Foreign buyers are very popular among Hungarian sellers. Their major drive is the low price of Hungarian real estate assets. Those investors who are willing to pay in US dollars or euro could see a 10 up to 15% cutoff in Hungarian property prices in 2022 because of the FX rate changes. On average, 5% of the buyers come outside of Hungary. The latest official statistics on foreign property buyers are available for 2020. The biggest source country of foreign buyers are Germany, Slovakia, Romania, China and Austria that year. These countries were in the top 5 in the previous years as well. According to ingatlan.com, in 2022, the most foreign buyers leads come from the USA, Germany, Austria, Slovakia and Romania. Buy-to-rent yields were exceptional in Budapest 6-7 years ago. The gross rental revenue purchase price GRR per PP ratio exceeded 8-9% in 2015. These revenue streams were also supported by a 20-25% price increase per year until 2020. Investing in Hungary and Budapest offered supreme opportunities for property buyers. In 2022, the average GRR PP ratio dropped to 4.9% and the average price growth slowed to 14-15% per year in Budapest. The Hungarian capital has become even more popular among Asian buyers. 91 up to 95% of Chinese and Vietnamese property buyers invest here. Budapest remained also a favorite among Israeli investors. 90% of them purchase property in the Hungarian capital. There were only 8,326 residential transactions closed in Hungary in October 2022, which is the lowest figure for the month since 2012. Brokerage firm Duna House reports October appeared to be the weakest month this year in terms of the number of transactions and mortgage loans taken out from commercial banks. Buyers took 37% lower than a year ago amount of credits. Next, we go on with Romania and the residential news there. Land for over 30,000 apartments secured in Bucharest. Residential developers have been the most active in terms of land acquisitions in the past 2.5 years, as they secured land plots which allow the construction of more than 30,000 units in all parts of Bucharest, according to data from real estate consultancy Cushman & Wakefield Exinox. Prime Capital to invest 330 million euro in Cluj-Napoca mixed-use scheme. Property developer and investor Prime Capital has unveiled plans for an urban regeneration project in Cluj-Napoca on a land plot of 70.1 hectares that previously hosted an industrial platform. The company plans to develop a shopping center spanning 75,000 square meters, offices with a leasable area of more than 49,000 square meters, and a residential component with around 1,400 apartments following an investment of more than 330 million euro. Romanian residential market records price drop in Q3 2022. Prices of homes in Romania fell by an average of 1.8% in the third quarter of this year compared to the second quarter of 2022, although in large regional cities such as Timișoara, Brașov, and Iași, the prices continued to grow in this period, according to property platform Imobiliare.ro. With a value of 2,400 euro per square meter, Cluj-Napoca has the most expensive asking prices of apartments, up 0.2% in Q3. Bucharest is second with an average price of 1,710 euro per square meter, with a slight decline of 0.9% over the last 3 months. After an advance of 1.2% in Q3 2022, Brașov reached an average of 1,570 euro per square meter. Further, we move on to Czechia and their trends in residential. When it comes to residential real estate assets, Czechs are orientated largely toward an ownership model. The ratio of owner-occupied to rented apartments in Prague, for example, is approximately 70 to 30, similar to the EU 27 average. The average bid price for a newly built apartment in Prague was approximately 155,000 Czech kronas per square meter during Q3 2022. This represents an increase of 7% since the start of the year, according to an analysis done by Colliers. According to the latest census, there are approximately 721,300 flats in Prague. The number of new flats completed annually is on average approximately 5,500 units per year. This is half of what the city needs. This deficiency is mainly caused by lengthy permitting procedures, especially the time required to obtain a zoning decision is extremely long. According to the World Bank's Doing Business Index from 2019, the Czech Republic ranked 156th out of 190 economies in the world when it came to the length of permitting processes for a simple warehouse project. In reality, some projects in Prague spent up to 8+ years trying to obtain a zoning permit, comments Joseph Stanko, senior research analyst from Colliers, adding that it is the deepening shortage of residential space that is causing the price of apartments to rise. Sales prices for flats have been increasing constantly since 2014. In Q3 2022, the average asking price for a newly built flat anywhere in Prague was approximately 6,310 euro per square meter. This represents an increase of 7% just since the beginning of 2022. If we look back to pre-pandemic figures, the average price was 106,000 Czech kronas compared to 155,000 Czech kronas per square meter. This lower price was registered in Q3 2019, that is 3 years ago. This means an increase of 46% over 3 years. The main driver for price increases was a significant excess of demand over supply. The price of previously owned apartments in Prague is increasing at a similar pace for the same time period. There was price acceleration for newly built flats. The current price in Q3 2022 stood at an average of approximately 5,050 euro per square meter. And today we will report on another country besides the 6 regular countries that we observe in the CSEE region, and we add Serbia. Prices in Belgrade's residential market are still showing double-digit increases compared to the previous year. Local real estate consultancy Cordon published a report summarizing the key trends driving Belgrade's residential market in Q2 2022. Some of the key findings of this report are the market is still growing, as the total transaction volume of 712 million euro recorded in Q2 2022 is significantly higher compared to Q2 last year. The amount 1 year ago has been 557 million euro. The total volume represents a significant increase compared to the first quarter of 2022, when the turnover was 562 million euro. A potential explanation is the war in Ukraine, as these types of events tend to influence the sale of apartments in Belgrade in a positive direction. Real estate investment is still the safest investment option for many Serbians, and the increased numbers amidst panic and fear for the midterm are reflecting that. 71% of all transactions were paid by cash, which is a slightly higher share compared to the prior year, again indicating that individuals with excess cash were fleeing toward real estate. This trend also shows that the market is less subject to volatility as a result of increased interest rates, which are already happening and are set for a further increase in the midterm, since the share of credit buyers is significantly small compared to the cash buyers, as it has been for the past 5 years. The average loan amount is less than 50,000 euro, which suggests that one portion of official credit buyers are buying apartments as an investment and only financing a small portion through credit. Prices are still showing double-digit increases compared to Q2 2021. The total amount of apartments transacted in Q2 2022 is a little less than 5,000 units. The number of transacted newly built apartments is slightly higher compared to some previous quarters, but that may not be the case going forward, as it will largely depend on the supply of new apartments in the midterm. And lastly, we will share with you the news about the residential asset class in Poland. The private rental sector, or PRS market, or so-called institutional renters, is relatively new to the Polish real estate market. The segment has been formulating for about 6 years, and the most active purchases, acquisitions, and new listings were in the last 2, that is 2022 and 2021. During this time, a real booming investment in the sector was registered with, among others, Orek Capital creating the Live Up brand, acquiring 3 properties in Warsaw, over 400 apartments, and Zeitgeist Asset Management purchasing 4 buildings under construction in Gdańsk with over 200 apartments. In turn, Swedish fund Hemstaden Bostad acquired 640 apartments in Warsaw, Praga, Polnoc, and Służewiec from IFAC in 2020 and bought more than 3,000 units a year later from Marvipol and Budimex. Also in 2021, Nordic Fund NREP acquired more than 1,000 apartments in Warsaw from YIT. As of September 2022, the PRS sector accounted for about 1% of the rental market in Poland, with just over 8,500 institutional rental units. The largest centers were Warsaw, more than 4,000 units, Wrocław, about 1,200 units, and Poznan, about 1,000 units, with more than 10,000 units under construction. The largest number of such newly constructed units are in Warsaw, over 3,500, followed by Kraków and Łódź, around 1,500 each. Preferences in housing, needs of Poles, and what they would like to change in their own place were studied by Etro Investment. The first edition of the report, There's No Place Like Home, or How Poles Live, states as follows: when deciding to buy an apartment, more than half of Poles choose 2 or 3 room units. The report, There's No Place Like Home, or How Poles Live, showed that 66% of respondents possess their owner-occupied housing, and attachment to ownership increases with age. Poles become owners of their four walls almost often after the age of 35, while young people taking their first steps on the job market more often decide to rent. Poles associate a sense of independence with a flexible approach to where they live without being bound by mortgage issues or ownership procedures. These were our December 2022 edition on residential asset class of the CSEE News, the special news on construction and real estate trends in Central and Southeast European countries, bi-monthly delivered to you and broadcast by PropTech Bulgaria. You can check our retail asset class, office and industrial news for December 2022 on seeproptech.eu or on our YouTube channel. Talk soon. Bye.